This program is 1 hour. Because this is the first session, I would probably take a floor for 5 minutes to give you guys a little bit perspective of what Testoper community is, right? And then I will hand over the floor to Kavita, and she will be engaging with you guys for next, including today, next 6 weeks, every hour, to really help you guys to learn how to build the apps, and in using microservice architecture. And I'm pretty sure, most of you might know, right? When you're building a program, you can build a program in a traditional way of functional based architecture and using waterfall model. And then you can also build the programs and apps or whatever products in a more advanced architecture, which is microservice architecture, which has multiple different components that can come together and help your product to work what it intend to work for, right? So that's going to be an interesting topic, and I'm glad that first of all, I wanted to really thank Kavita for accepting this challenging task to really help us all learn this particular interesting topic. Thanks a lot, Kavita, for that. And second thing I wanted to really let you all know is that, see, our community is a very friendly community. Okay, we want you guys to really ask questions. Don't think this is a very formal event or formal session. It is not. I will tell you why it is not in a bit, right? But it's a very friendly environment, and we wanted you guys to ask questions, learn, and even teach, right? Come learn to learn and also train to learn, right? Some of you all today are here to learn, and Kavita is here to train to learn. End of the day, we are all here together to learn, right? So I just want to make sure that you keep that in your mind. And with that, let me quickly share a slide for next 3 minutes that I'm going to go through to really help you understand what Testoper is. Can you see my screen? Let me see. I didn't do it right. Let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, got it.
Awesome. So guys, there's 5 words I wanted to really talk to you about, right? Next to 3 minutes. So what are those 5 words? So the first thing that I wanted to really talk to you about is, oops, what's going on here?
Kader, we don't see the screen.
You don't see the
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah, it came up. Yeah.
Came up now?
Yeah.
The full screen, right?
Yes, we can see the full screen.
Okay, perfect. So team, I wanted you all to understand that we are right now at a stage where a lot of technological advancement is happening. Okay. And the expectation of the company who wants to recruit you, or someone like Michael who wants to become an innovator, intrapreneur, or an entrepreneur, right? You got to somehow understand all the things that is happening around you in the tech industry. So that's what basically we call it as a future skills and innovation. I understand that every single person like you and I cannot be expert of everything. That's not going to be possible. Okay. But at the same time, what is important for us is to understand the big picture. So at least you can connect the dots, or at least you can, when someone is talking about something, you at least understand what he is talking about, even though you don't know the depth of it. So the first word that I wanted to focus and help you guys to understand is the future skills and innovation. The future skills and innovation is very, very important for you as an individual to be successful in your career, intrapreneurship, or entrepreneurship goals that you have. Remember this first word from me, future skills and innovation. And then the second word that I wanted to really talk to you about is future workforce, or workforce of future. So what is it? If you have the future skills and innovation, that means you are a well-oiled, trained workforce who is able to get a job or start a company or whatever that you wanted to do. So the second word is the future workforce. So how you can become a future workforce or the workforce of future is by developing future skills and innovation. So these are the 2 words, future skills and innovation, future workforce. Now, how can you do this? The only way that you can do this is through the continuous learning. you have to have a mindset to continuously learn. If you don't have that mindset, you can never develop your future skills and innovation. And even if you develop today and tomorrow, you will become obsolete. Okay, so and at the same time, you cannot learn everything, but at least what you can do as an individual is to create a mindset that is a continuous learning mindset, and you continuously learn one or other thing, and even eventually over the period of time, you will be able to develop the depth, not only the depth of knowledge, but the breadth of knowledge. So you are a future workforce ready for the market, right? So remember, future workforce, future skills and innovation, and the third word is continuous learning. So how you can become a future workforce? By enabling future skills and innovation. How you can enable future skills and innovation? By developing a continuous learning mindset. Remember these three words. And the fourth word is more related to the Testoper community. So what is Testoper community? See, the Testoper community, it is first of all a non-profit community. It is not run for making money, period. Okay, and it is run for helping all of us to develop continuous learning mindset, develop future skills and innovation, and become a workforce of future. That is what the Testoper community is all about. It is a non-profit. Now, how it is run? Do we have employees? No, we don't have any employees. Then how is this community run? This community is run by the experts like you, me, and everyone in this call as volunteers, and we run this show. We are it's like an open source, right? If you are technical guys, you know what is an open source. You know, a lot of people come together and build something and they make that code free for everyone to use. It's the same thing. Testoper community is an open community. Because when you're open, it's the place for innovation. A lot of people can come and help each other. And there was a person called Ashwak. Yesterday, he was telling me that he was very thankful to me, saying that, hey, you know, I joined this community, and there was another person called Farhan who was also a volunteer, and he had a job opportunity in his company, and he referred me. Of course, not just referring me, but I also performed well and I got a job. See, this is what openness allows us to do a lot of things that is better for each of us. So the fourth word that I wanted you to remember is we are an open non-profit community run by the volunteers, governed by the volunteers, and run by the volunteers. And the last word that I wanted you to remember is the people-led grassroots movement, right? What does it mean? It means that we as an individual wants to come together, help each other in maybe whatever it is, getting a job, learning, you know, whatever, right? That we wanted to help each other and we wanted to all grow together, together, right? So that's what the fifth word, people-led grassroots movement. This is the 5 words that I wanted you to remember. Number 1, Testoper is a non-profit open community. Number 2, it is a people-led grassroots movement. All of us are actually running the show and helping each other to grow each other. It is completely self-governed and run by the volunteers. We are almost like 40 volunteers. And if you wanted to join as a volunteer to help us to run this organization, you're welcome. You reach out to me and I will be happy to get you onboarded with other people, and you can show your interest and so on. And that's the second word, right? And the third one is what we try to do. We try to help you to incubate the continuous learning mindset so you can learn the fourth word, future skills and innovation, so you can become a fifth word, which is future workforce. That is what Testoper community is all about. And you can, you know, all our statistics, you can see it in our website. You can go to our website, look at the statistics, what programs we do and all those kind of things. Spread it to your companies and customers about what we do, and if they wanted to join us and support this non-profit community, because we need tools like Microsoft, what we are using now to spend money and deliver the program, and follow us in all the medium. So there was a question from Preeti, right? So Preeti, what I suggest you is go to the Eventbrite and look at different programs that we do. Okay, and you can actually find there is one program that we have called as a Testoper project that happens every Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. It's not only for you, for everyone in this call. And this program is nothing but to really help you to come and learn skills, whatever is required, and form the team, come up with an idea and build the product that you become a company or you give it back to someone to use it or whatever, right? But the thought process is to help you to really come together, build a team and build some product and get certificate of that you have worked on this project from us, right? So it will kind of help you with the Canadian experience that you can use it probably to apply for other jobs and so on, right? So that's an answer for you. And for all others, you can always look at the different programs that we plan to do for this year, join them and get benefit out of that. I know I took more time than I supposed to take. I will leave the floor to Kavita. Kavita, please go ahead. By the way, that's me. If you can see me. Okay, so that's me, not in a good shape, but just I wanted to flash myself to you all. So with that, I'll hand over it to Kavita. Floor is yours. Next 5.5 hours, next 6 weeks, it's all yours. Take us and help us to learn together.
Thanks, Kader. Firstly, I'm glad to be part of this community. I've been going through this, on all the platforms. I think I got to know about this two to 3 months back, but I've been following this on all the platforms. So it is a very good opportunity for all of us. Like you told, learn to learn, teach to learn to teach, everything. And just giving my background. Just giving my background, I'm Kavita, based out of Hyderabad, India. I have around 18 plus years of experience. I have done multiple roles. Started off as a developer and a project lead, delivery management. Currently, I'm doing a role of a solutions architect with Wave Labs. As the technology evolved, we have seen through the so many things change. So we have to adapt to change and keep learning. So that is what is all about on the current day. What I will do is I'll just give you a background what we are going to do for the next 6 weeks. The latest technology is microservices. It'll any job requirement or the job description we get or we post has this microservice term there. And it is very simple to learn. It is just just getting the aspects of it and implementing it. So there is nothing very major or complex thing about this. And what I will do is today is the first session, so I will give it will be a little bit of theory to get the context right, so that the next 5 weeks will be very easy for us to grasp it. Okay. Any questions? I'll go off video so that I can share my screen and start this session.
Thank you so much, Kavita. So you can share the screen, Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen.
And everyone, please look at the chat window. So there are some, if you have any questions or anything to Kavita, please feel free to post your questions on the chat window. So we'll be coordinating the questions so she can answer them. And also in the chat window, you would see the closed WhatsApp group, and provide your first name and last name so we can add you into the Microsoft Teams. So you can not only learn from Kavita during the sessions, but also ask questions to Kavita before and after the sessions, right? So please, if you're interested to join the Microsoft Teams collaboration platform of Testoper, feel free to do that, because that's where a lot of actions happen, right? Yeah, over to you, Kavita.
Yeah, Kader, I'm on full screen. So if any question comes, please alert me.
Will do.
Yeah. So just to give about the next 6 weeks, what we are going to cover, no, not limited to these topics, but these are the high-level topics which we'll be covering. So first thing will be the introduction to microservices, how different they are from the previous architectures, and then a simple demo of a microservice. So the first 3 topics I'll try to cover today. And then, we will see how to write microservices using Spring Boot, and, also integrate with database and other frameworks. And authentication and authorizations are the important contexts for any microservice. So that will be dealt in detail. And also the API gateway. That is for any external call to come in, how to do that. So this will be overall coverage, and as we move on, we can add new topics also based on the interest levels. We are open for that. So we'll get into the first session, that is introduction to microservice. It will be little of detailed descriptions and the comparisons between the architectures, but this will help us understand the evolution of the architecture which has happened over the years. So we'll be covering the different architectures which are commonly there, were there and currently there. So one of them is the monolithic architecture, their challenges. The service-oriented architecture, which is called as SOA, its challenges, and how microservices have evolved, and what are the advantages as well as some drawbacks of it. And I'll show you just a sample today. Let me know if I'm going a little speed or you're not able to follow. Coming to the monolithic architecture, as the name suggests, monolithic means it is a single component. Earlier, I think a decade ago, this was widely used. Wherever all the components were tied together as a software application, it was a single. It was bundled together and deployed or coordinated or anything as a whole, as a single unit. If you see here in the as the picture depicts, right? Everybody is aware of a client-server application. The client is the web page or the mobile or any device which is accessing an application, and the server is what the actual processing happens. So if you see here in this picture, it is all bundled together. It is all considered as a single unit, and there is no distinguishing between any of these components here. So what is happening is, it was very difficult to manage or maintain, and there were many drawbacks because of this. So just understand this picture. I will explain the drawbacks because of this. So if we see, we used to have the three-tier architecture, or sometimes the MVC patterns were applied for this monolithic architecture. So the client, the user interface is the front end, that is the UI. And wherever the business logic is there, we had layers for that, and the database is maintained for all the transactions. So all of the, if we go from a component view also, all of them were bundled together, and it was always deployed on a single instance as a single unit. Any questions on this page before I go on?
Actually, I have a question. Not on this page. Actually, in the chat, is it not possible to write there?
Oh, you can write in the chat. Yeah.
No, it's not sending. It's blocked. I just want to read. Anyway, I just want to add on your WhatsApp group and Microsoft team. That will helpful. That will be helpful surely.
Yeah, sure. You just post it there. I'll be able to respond back.
No, I can't post in there.
Yeah,
no
maybe I don't know. Maybe there is some restrictions from your end, but that's okay. We'll we'll address that after this session.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, can we get the recording for the revision purpose?
Yes, all the recordings are posted in YouTube. So just go to YouTube and search Testoper. You will already see more than 200 videos there. And normally what happens is, after the session,
Mhm.
2 to 3 days. We post this also in the YouTube.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
It'll be Monday morning.
Monday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No questions.
Sure.
Kavita, please proceed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just to list a few or the major disadvantages of this. So large and complex applications were combined and maintained as a single unit. It was difficult to maintain from any development or release point of view. Release in the sense, if you have to make any change for any new enhancement or any bug fix or a new change, right? We had to wait for long time for the release to move to production. And a lot of time was there for was needed for build deployment as well as the QA activities, and there is a lot of dependency for the regression also to happen. Okay, so that was the main disadvantage, and the restart time or the deployment time also was more, and it is not that easy or flexible for changes, and it is less reliable. Less reliable means we'll have to do a lot of testing as well as any change could have ripple effects. We have to do a regression on it. And scalability in the sense, if the volume of requests or the size of the application increases, scalability of that application was very difficult, and it was taking time. So these were the main disadvantages of monolithic architecture. And then so over a period of time, we saw that it moved to the service oriented architecture. The service oriented architecture is separating the main component into services, and communicating through a protocol. It can be a REST based protocol or a SOAP based, or however it is, and then maintaining it. It solved most of the drawbacks of the monolithic, but it still had a lot of challenges in it. So if you see the difference here, we see is that it is split across services and not across layers. And then there is an enterprise service bus, which acts as the communication channel between the actual client or the request. And still, most of them used this single database for its transactions management. So like we saw that apart from desktop UI, we saw that the mobiles or other devices also coming into action to access most of the applications. So this helped in accessing those applications also. The component, the services were exposed to both the front ends as well as the apps, but still it had its own drawbacks also. So if you see here, it is not a single component. Each one is split into services, and it is managed to the enterprise service bus.
Kavita,
Yeah.
can you give an example of the enterprise service bus application, like on premises? I'm not talking about the cloud implementations. Is this BizTalk we're talking about?
Sorry, what was that last one?
So example of enterprise service bus application. Is this BizTalk we're talking about?
BizTalk.
Microsoft BizTalk, or is this? So can you give me an example of enterprise service bus that we used to use?
It is the REST-based protocols, HTTP protocols, or the SOAP-based, which are widely used for these services. Maybe BizTalk could have been one of them, but I might have not come across.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So basically what I think is, Kavita, so in the microservice architecture, you are able to kind of split one big task into small tasks and implement small tasks as a usual service, and have all these different services like service 1, service 2 in a practical sense, right? Shopping cart, code,
Yes.
or payment services interact with each other, and all the communication that happens between all these services happens through the protocols like SOAP, HTTP, and so on.
Yes.
And obviously you need a bus that can kind of, otherwise you need to have a mesh connection, right? Mesh connection is complicated, so it's always good to have a bus through which you can actually send and receive these protocols. I think that's what you meant, right? Just for my understanding.
So
Yes, Kadar. Yeah.
Okay.
so I'm aware of Service Bus in Azure. So all this is it's a queuing mechanism for storing messages. So the messages are coming in, and then they can be read from the reading or the subscribing application whenever it has capacity to do so. Right. So I'm thinking this is the logic here with the enterprise service bus that I see in the SOA architecture. So I was just looking for an example of an application that would do so. I know from the Microsoft world, I think this is a BizTalk, and I was just confirming if that's the case.
Yeah, Kavita, is there any answer to that?
I am not able to recollect the exact term, Kadar, here.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be able to tell that.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
just get back on that.
Yeah, let's take this question offline and get back. See, for now, let's move forward with an understanding.
Sure,
It is
sure.
just
Yeah, I don't want to hold up everybody. So please go ahead. Thank you.
Javed. It's just a hub, right? Like a hub which kind of directs the traffic across between different microservices. Let's go with that assumption. And I know where you are coming from. When a microservice is trying to send and receive the message, to enable that microservice to do that, you need to have a subscribe notify mechanism, right? And that's what you are getting at.
Yeah.
But for now, let's
actually, most of the web server level it used to do. I'm not getting the right term here, Kadar. I'm not able to recollect. I'll just get back on that, Javed.
Sure. Perfect. And Mukta also messaged
one thing.
something called as a WebSphere, IBM App Connect, or some of the examples that she has shared. Good. Let's move.
Yeah.
I love the interaction, right? So, just want to let you know, Rita, right? Even if you're not able to cover your topics completely, no worries, right? We will, there's no urgent that we need to cover what we need to cover today. And we can always push it to the next.
Sure,
Kavita,
Kadar.
may I know one thing?
Yeah.
For this application, what will be the bandwidth requirement? Is there any large bandwidth requirement, like it should be like 100 megabyte speed or 10 kilobyte speed? It need to be ensured. Can you give me any idea?
For any application to be built?
Yeah, to use and for the user level on the server and the database everywhere. What is the standard thumb rule bandwidth requirement?
I mean, do you mean the bandwidth between the microservices? Is that what you mean? How much bandwidth?
Exactly. You are in the right way.
Yeah. Okay.
The standard. That's the idea for the thumb rule idea. Like it will be if I pass 1 kilobyte per speed, 1 kilobyte per second, that will be okay for the service. The application will run from the server side and from the user in the smartphone also, in the tab also.
Correct. Yeah, so that's a good question, right? So there's two things to it, right? One thing is we all know computer means, you have a CPU, you have a processor, storage, and IO, right? I mean, of course, when you're building a microservice architecture, you want to make sure that you have enough bandwidth that is available so all these microservices can communicate with each other. I understand. But from this discussion point of view, I think it's a little too far away, right? Let's continue on the flow. One step at a time, if it is okay with you, and leave the.
Okay.
Let's have Kavita to continue with her flow.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kavita.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump in.
Yeah. No, actually, that is a separate topic by itself. I wanted to tell that, it is on need basis and case to case basis how that is being decided.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a high-level view of the SOA. Just listing down a few advantages which the SOA architecture gives. Like it is easy to maintain, because we've split it across services and made it accessible, and it is independent of the other services also. There is no tight coupling there, and it is platform independent. Like in the sense, the services can be written in any language and can be used as needed. However, there were disadvantages. That is, increased overheads and higher loads because everything was a request response pattern. So that was one overhead, and it was complex to manage the service management that is in between the services also, and high investment costs because to host the whole services in one it's when upfront the setup had to be made, and the scalability also had to be taken into consideration. So these were the disadvantages of SOA. So over a period of time, this SOA led way to the microservice architecture. So here we are with the microservice architecture. So if you had seen the SOA had split the module into different services, and it was not tightly coupled. So there was the evolution from that is each service is split into further smaller components based on their business functionality, and they can work standalone, and they collaborate and form a single unit, and they are not tightly coupled. So if you see here, everything has its own database, if it can maintain, and they talk to each other, and they are independent. Any questions here? Like we went through different phases so far. So tightly coupled components were broken into services, but still they were interdependent. Now we have reduced that interdependency also because we have split it into smaller components which can be standalone, and are grouped together with their business functionalities.
So how are the
And
Three
databases?
databases.
Sorry.
Database is three in the one server, or it will be multiplied spread in the the technology like backup server in the also.
Yeah, it depends. Both the cases can be done. It can be deployed along with the microservice, or it can be deployed in a cloud and accessed. It depends on the implementation. And
Okay.
backup also can be done based on the need.
Okay.
So in the previous one single database was there. It was large, huge data, and transaction were maintained. So that also that dependency or the load on the database is also reduced with this kind of thing. So each service will maintain its own data.
What happens if a service needs data from separate component databases?
Yeah, that's where the collaboration happens between the services, and the data retrieval happens.
Just to confirm, there's no direct connection between, let's say, microservice 2 and the database of microservice 3, right? So if microservice 2 needs to connect to the database of microservice 3, it needs to first get data. So it's REST-based connectivity between 2 and 3, and 3 gets it from its own database and gives it to, right?
Correct.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So yeah. Here it's just an example, but based on the need, the connections or the calls are made to the other services, and the data retrieval or data posting happens.
The five services in the same time. Microservice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same time will happen.
No, it will be deployed as separate services on a cloud or any deployment environment.
On a cloud means on a like the currently the hardware structure is in some PC or machine is one
Yes.
CPU, and
Yes.
some is multi CPU.
So
But
5 instances will be running. 5 instances of the microservice will be running. In the earlier model, only one instance of the service will be running on a single port. But here, 5 instances of the services will be running on different ports.
Okay. Okay.
Just moving on, just reiterating the advantages of microservice. As I told, because they're split into different services based on the business requirement or their commonality, it is quick to develop, and the turnaround time for testing or the moving to production is very quick. In the sense, it does not have dependency on the other services or the features which are there. This can lead to faster deployment and faster release cycles. And the main advantage is fault isolation. Fault isolation means if any service or anywhere the system has broken down or it has come down. Identifying the issue in the previous architectures were difficult because the debugging or going through the error logs or getting to the place where the issue has happened, it used to be very fast, very difficult and slow. But in this case, because each are individual components, we know which one is gone down or which one is causing the issue. So we can isolate that and resolve it faster. And another thing is a mixed technology stack. So microservice can be developed using any technology, and there is no dependency that it has to be on a particular technology. If service 1 is talking to service 2, both can be in two different technologies. One can be in Spring Boot Java, another can be in Golang or Node.js or anything, and they can talk to each other. And scaling is easier and at a granular level. So if microservice 2, for example, needs more data handling and needs to be scaled, we can plan to scale only that microservice, and the rest of the things we don't have to scale it. So that we will be able to save time here, and it is loosely coupled, as I told earlier. And the another thing is, with the mixed technology stack, each team, the collaboration between teams needs to be happening, but it's only exposed at what is your request response, what will be your input and output. We don't have to bother what is in depth within the other service what they're going to do. Oh, so this is an example, like how the actual architecture looks like. So the input for any microservice is either your device or your PC or your mobile web, anything. So first the call comes to your identity provider. We give an URL or an app call. It resolves it. It goes to the API gateway, which is your entry point, like a gatekeeper. Based on the call, it decides which service to be called, and it doesn't expose the inner domain to the outside world. So this acts like a gatekeeper, and it ensures that the right microservice is being called, and the response has been sent back in the right way. So we have the view, that is the content resolver here, which will, in case where the view has to be determined, this has been accessed. And the service discovery is, each service has we have multiple services, right? So the service discovery module ensures that the list of services are maintained, and it helps in service lookup there. And the management component, which is here, helps in placing the service on each node. So that is, more of a configuration thing, and helps in identifying any potential failures or any drawbacks there, and also helps in rebalancing of the services across nodes. And this can call any other remote service also. So this is what is a complete picture of how a microservice architecture looks like. Any application which works on microservice. So now many companies are using this. One such is Amazon, or anything like that. Netflix, everything is using this microservice. So they are independent. Each service is independent, and they can scale up or scale down as needed.
Kavita, quick question, sorry. Are we in this whole course of 6 weeks, are we also going to talk about microservices in the context of deploying them in containers?
Deployment in containers, I think there is a follow-up topic on Dockers and Kubernetes.
Okay.
This particular session, correct me, Kavita, right? Is more for the software developers who wants to build the app using microservice architecture, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
not to do anything with DevOps and Kubernetes and
No.
so on, deploying and configuring. For that, we already had some session. You can look it up in YouTube, and also there is a follow-on session after 3 months on that. I think, Kavita, you're also going to take that, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes. That's what I think it is in August or July end or August, Kadash, if I remember right.
It's on August. It starts on August, so it goes one step at a time, right? So this one is purely for the software developers to build the.
So here we'll be covering how to deploy on your local machine, how you can build a app, deploy, and make it in a working state.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for that distinction, Kader. And okay, looking forward to learning these. Thank you.
Sure. Coming back to the microservice architecture here, it also has some disadvantages which we can't rule out. So one major thing is, when we are splitting into multiple services, it is definitely going to be difficult to manage large number of services. But with proper planning and coordination, this can be brought under control. Because it comes with a lot of advantages by splitting into different services, and higher chances of failure during communication, because we communicate between services through HTTP protocol, or we use the REST-based calls here. So there are chances of communication issues here, and because more number of services are there, it needs more resources. Multiple database and transaction management can be painful, but this is where the design aspect comes in. So how to plan this, and how to scale this up at the beginning of the project, or beginning of the service design. If we take some measures, this also can be handled. And when we are splitting into smaller services, the QA or the testing and overall application level could be little difficult, and debugging with multiple logs and services also is little difficult. But we are having tools which can help consolidate all this and make it easier. And a dependency on deployments is there, because we need to coordinate between other services, because they should not be impacted. But however, deployment time is faster here, so the downtime is less, and it can be handled. Okay. Hope this gives a good idea. So just
there are some questions. Just quickly. Yeah, you finish off the next.
Kader, just one slide.
Because
so that this will bring to a
bring all the
good
three together.
closure. So summarizing the three architectures which I covered in the last 30 minutes. So this gives a picture of the view, how a single monolithic architecture got evolved into a SOA and then into a microservice. So we can see that evolution in this picture. So this should help you visualize the change and how the drawbacks turned into advantages and how we have evolved with the microservices today.
Yeah, this is a really good summary, right? So monolithic to SOA to microservice. This is good, and I see some of the questions here. Let me quickly browse through. So there were people asking about how do I register for the other events? Yeah, please go to the Eventbrite. All the events are there that we do in Testoper. And there was a question from Kaushik. Hey Kaushik, how are you, man? You don't give too much of hard time. Next time you need to come and train here, okay? I'm just joking. So the question is, when we say API gateway, can decide which microservice API gateway can send user request, who handle or provide this intelligent mechanism, that is cloud service provider or microservice when it is designed. Sorry, my question is very basic. So the question what he is asking is who basically controls this whole communication thing between the different microservices? Is it something that a developer has to design and do, or is it something from the infrastructure that we can take advantage of, like microservice, like Microsoft infrastructure and so on? That's the question.
Kader. API gateway is developer will definitely have a control on that. Which service to be called when such a request comes. But there are some configurations also needs to be done. We have a detailed topic on this, I think, on the third or fourth session. We'll be able to answer that.
Okay.
But at this point of time, yes, we'll have to configure so that the control is with the like how the request has to be transferred. So some configurations are there. And I won't say it is development. It is more of a configuration.
Got it. So you would be using the platform functionalities and you configure as a developer. So you are able to make all the different microservices talking with each other and so on. Got it. And there is a lot of questions related to the DevOps. Guys, I just wanted to make sure that the scope of this particular session is to really help you as a developer to build the app using microservice architecture, but not to deploy them, scale them, and debugging them at this point of time. But I'm sure that Kavita will touch bases when there is a right time, right? Because she's also going to show some demos and things like that in the subsequent sessions. There, some of your questions can be addressed. Like there is a question from Corata Johnson. What kind of tools are used for debugging deployment issue? I strongly believe these questions are to be answered in the following sessions, and we are just on the introduction session. And otherwise, Kavita, if you think otherwise, please do respond to this.
Yes, Kader. So I think most of them will be answered in the subsequent sessions. Could you repeat that question on the logs or debugging?
What kind of tools are used for debugging deployment issues, right? Because he's asking about deployment issues. Like after deploying, is the microservices is working fine and things like that.
Okay. So there are multiple stages. We have the logs configured. It depends on how you are deploying and where you are deploying. But for a developer, we'll have to write loggers. Which will be logged, a log console will be available, and that will help the developer to debug if it is a code issue. That is anything to do with your development. But if it is anything to do with the deployment, the DevOps person will take care. So while developing, we can write system outs, which will help us in debugging. But when we are when for debugging a deployed application, we need loggers. So there are many open source or proprietary logging frameworks available. One such is Log4j, which is widely used. So we in the code we use that component and log appropriately, so that any exceptions are caught there and logged.
Got.
Yeah.
And Kavita, we have 5 minutes left, so just wanted to make sure that timing point of view you're doing okay.
Yes, yes, I have no issues even if it can be extended for another 5 minutes, not a problem. So just I wanted to show a small demo so that it's not a complete theory class today. I hope it is fine.
Yes.
Yes.
5 more minutes is okay, respecting
Yeah,
others.
there was also one question from Coretta Johnson, like, is microservice architecture good for small company?
Yes. Because you have control on the code, you can deploy it and scale it up as needed. And as the application gets complex, or you add more features, you can add multiple microservices on top of it.
Yeah, it's like how we organize our cupboards, right? With different things in different places, so it becomes well managed and things like that. Otherwise, it will become a chaos, right? It's the same concept, principally.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So a small demo so that you get a feel of what a microservice is. We have seen client server applications, with the UI and the backend working. So what I have done is I've just built two services. One is the card service, another is the discount service. Based on the card, what discount needs to be given. So I have enabled endpoints for the microservice, and I'm just showing a communication between two microservices. Okay, so this is a small Spring Boot application. Okay, which we have developed on a IDE called Spring Tools Suite. More details on this I will share before the next session, and also next session is more in detail on the Spring Boot. Okay. So these two services, right? I have written this, just to take the card number and tell which card it belongs to, which service provider it is, and calculate the, based on the card, give the discount. It is not a real-time use case, but I just came up with a small use case. So if any card starts with 5,000 series, it is city, I just configured this. And another discount service is based on the city, based on the card type, what discount to be given. Okay, so this is not a real-time use case, but I just for an understanding purpose, I have configured this. So what we have done is two services, Spring Boot applications I have written, and I have run this as a Spring Boot app on my local. So two servers are running here. Two microservices have been started here. Okay, so discount service and the card service. Okay, so I have exposed the REST endpoints here. Okay, and then we can make a call to this service using Postman. Okay, so the first service is, I'm just giving the card, get the card name based on the card number. So I'm giving something called something starting with 4,000 series. So when I make a call to this service, the response is ICICI. So because I have configured that way, it's not a real-time case, but just to understand. So if you see, I've got city here. If you see on the logs, the service call has been made. I'll just clear the logs and show. I've written some system out so that it will be printed on the logs. So the call has come here. The card number is printed. It is starting with 5,000, so it is city. Okay. The same thing, the discount service also, a separate service has been written, so that give me the discount based on the card name. So same thing. I make a call, because I have done configuration for city as 7%, I'll be getting this output. So you see here, this is the latest call which has been done. I'll clear and show. So 2 REST endpoints have been exposed for 2 different services. Okay, now the latest call has been displayed here. So there is another thing, like, from the from service, that card service, I have to calculate the discount service. I have to get the discount service. So that is the communication between 2 services. So for that also I have exposed another endpoint called card discount. So what it will do is, it will first determine what is the card, and based on the card make a REST template call to the other microservice. So this is internal communication. So this is one such example. So for this endpoint, it will get the card name, and then make a call to the discount service and print both. Okay. So this is that REST endpoint I was talking about, card discount. So I'm giving that 4000 series. So here this is the latest call. So it is called service 1, that is the card service 1, and then internally it has called the discount service and got that information also. Want to clear and show. So it is, 2 services are interlinked or made to talk to each other. In earlier SOA, what would have been the cases? One service only would have been deployed with all the endpoints. So one change would have, if I have to change the discount part, the whole application had to be redeployed. So now in case this has to be changed, right? So the dependency on the other application is not there.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good to practically see the demo, Kavita, for what you explained, right? I just want to tell a couple of things before people start to leave. Guys, if you wanted to attend next week event, the same program continuously trained by Kavita for next 5 weeks, there's a couple of things, right? One thing is, you got a message from the Eventbrite today. Please copy and keep that link with you so that you can click that link and join the next week's session. Or you can also go to the Eventbrite and register for the next week's session so that Eventbrite will send you the link for you to join. So just remember this. This is very, very critical for you to understand. And another very critical thing is, you saw in the chat, right? After the session is over, go to the chat and there is a WhatsApp group. Join the WhatsApp group and send your first name, last name, and email address, because that will allow me to add you into the Microsoft Teams. Our volunteer team will add you into Microsoft Teams. So next time when you log in into the Microsoft Teams with Testoper credential, you can actually use that. Kavita, you have a Microsoft Teams that you can share, because you're sharing it, right? Yeah, in the left. Yeah, in the left, the Teams. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
No. This is the Wavelabs one.
Oh, okay. So let me share this quickly here so that you guys can
please.
see it, because this is very, very important that I wanted you all to know. So Kavita will be available in this channel here in the Microsoft Teams. We use Testoper Codathon channel. So anytime, any questions that you have, you can always ask her here. So she can also help you to answer the questions offline before and after the event, right? And a lot of collaborations that happens in this is like a Slack channel. If you have already used it, we use this. So for that, you need to provide first name, last name in your in the chat and your email address so we can add it. And you already see here, it's kind of posted it here. So I know that we took a little bit more time today for the governance because it's important. First session always, it's important. But from the Kavita point of view, I wanted to really thank Kavita for this session. Kavita, do you have any more additional thing to share in this? No, we'll continue in next one.
No, I'm done. Only thing, I had a slide for next session. What will be covered? It will be more on Spring Boot. It will be a little technical and coding will be there. I'll show some demos how to do that. Just wanted, if you get some time, please go through some Spring Boot and Java-based tutorials. So it will be helpful for you to understand better. Yeah.
Correct. And also, guys, this is Codathon, right? If you wanted to bring your computer and sit and attend so that you can do it in the side when she is trying to explain you, feel free to do that. Or you just wanted to understand the concept and you want to do it afterwards, that's also fine. But remember, this is a Codathon, right? It's going to be more on the concept as well as how to help you to learn coding so you can develop a microservice. That's the goal of this particular session. Right, and I'm confident that you will achieve that in next 5 sessions. We can't cover everything. It's a vast topic, like you mentioned, right, Kavita? But we will try our best to give you enough so that you can get started. That's the goal. And you can always collaborate with the community members afterwards to learn more and more, and you can continue on that. Go to Eventbrite, look for all other events. You can also join the other events to benefit from. Pretty much that's it, I guess, for today. Kavita, I know that you were hurrying up a little bit. I felt really bad because I took some of your time sorry about that. But next time onwards,
That's one thing. How can I add in the WhatsApp group?
So you look at the chat, right? Chat window.
In the chat window, there is a web link, but not clickable.
Yeah. This one, yeah, just take this, copy this and put it in your notepad or whatever, right? And it will create a link and then you can click from there. Or, if you open, send this link to your, phone message, WhatsApp message or text message and then click it. That will also, right? It's not hyperlinked now. I think that's all it is. Okay.
I added it as a hyperlink.
Okay, so now he added it as a hyperlink. So now you can just click it and join the WhatsApp group. Provide the first name and last name and email address so we can send you the invite for this. Okay, so you know what? 26 people attending is good. I expected that we normally have 15 to 20 for a session. We have like 12, almost we went up to 30, and I know that in the second session, third session, number of people will go down because they would have realized some of the people who joined today would have joined with an expectation to learn from DevOps point of view, but that's not the case, right? So that's expected, but I hope that 26 people, whoever are here right now, they are getting what they really wanted to get. And I'm looking forward every one of you to attend next 5 sessions. Please remember, right, we also provide the certificate of attendance of this program. So if you attend 80% out of 6 sessions, if you attend 5 sessions, you will get the certificate of attendance from us. So long story short, we are non-profit. Join, help us learn together and grow. Make this event like a more friendly event. We are not an official event organizer. No means. We are a bunch of people like you want to come together and learn. And that's what we are doing it. And we don't really focus on the quality of the program, but rather what we focus on is how much are we learning together. Right? That's the most important thing. And I trust that we all will do that together as a team for rest of the 5 sessions and learn. Okay, so with that, I wanted to give an honor to Kavita to close the session and say goodbye. See you guys, in future sessions. Kavita, please go ahead to close.
Thanks, Kadat. Thanks, friends, for joining. Hope it was helpful, and looking forward for the future sessions of learning. And please do share your feedback so that I also will come prepared for that.
Perfect. Send your feedbacks in WhatsApp and Microsoft Teams so that it can help Kavita for next session.
Yeah, thank you, Kavita. It was a really informative session. Looking forward to next week.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And guys, next time one of you have to come and train as well. Don't forget, it's not only taking, you also have to give back to the community. And you want to volunteer, reach out to me. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.